And by the way, everything is linked down below in the description, so you guys can catch all this stuff down on Amazon or their respected stores. What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something a little bit different, something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I believe it's super long overdue. Now I get asked this a lot, not per se exactly what's in my camera bag, but I always get asked what gear am I using, whether it's a photo shoot or a video. People are asking, hey, what did you shoot that with? Hey, what filter? I just think it's time to do a what's in my camera bag video. Now this video is going to be a little bit different. I see some people do what's in my travel bag, what's in my camera bag as a creator, blah 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 blah. My line of work is kind of, I'll say, situational, where some aspects I'm doing strictly photography, sometimes I'm doing strictly video, sometimes I'm doing a little bit of a hybrid setup. So just to give you guys a little rundown of the type of work I do, it will kind of make sense on why I have so much gear in this bag at all times. So I am a director, a photographer, an editor, and I do content creation as well. Now, and some of those lines are some professional work, some things are just for myself, some things are for my church, and some of those gigs kind of call for all of those things at once, whether it's photography or video. And sometimes I don't know if it's gonna be photography or video until I show up. So I have this bag in particular so that I'm always prepared, and I have all this gear so I make sure I'm prepared no matter what the shoot will throw at me. So enough of the talking about that, let's just get into the bag. And the bag I'm rocking is the Nomadic Peter McKinnon 35 liter bag. And I absolutely love this bag. I believe I've had it for about 2 years, 2.5 years now, and it's gone through the ringer. It's beat up, it's been halfway around the world with me. I use it for my day-to-day. I also use it for my travel. This is my go-to bag, and this thing is incredible. I'm not gonna go into complete depth of all the things you can do with this bag, how much things you can fit. You'll kind of get a glimpse of what everything you can fit throughout this video, but you can put a lot in this bag. I've never had an issue with not being able to fit certain things. I have a lot in this bag. The build quality is great, it's comfortable, it's sturdy, it's rugged, and like I said, I've put it through its paces. It's traveled around the world with me, it's been out in the desert, it's been in the studio with me. This thing is my go-to, and I absolutely love it. Now, opening up the front of the bag, I have the DJI RS3 Pro. This gimbal has been my go-to for about a year and a half as well, and I absolutely love it. It comes in clutch for those perfect times where I don't know if I'm gonna need to shoot video and I need those smooth gimbal-like shots. So the front pouch of this bag carries the RS3 Pro with me at all times. And with that being said, I have to carry all the accessories and attachments with it as well. And my favorite go-to attachment is definitely the vertical mount. Obviously these days everything is being shot vertically, or they want things shot vertically for content creation, for your Instagram Reels, for your YouTube Shorts, your TikToks. And like I said, some of my jobs are very situational and I never know what's gonna come. So I need to have all of these little things just in case, and the vertical mount for the RS3 Pro definitely comes in clutch. And moving on over to the top pouch of the bag, I don't have much in the pouches, but I do have my Sony ZX110 NC noise cancellation headphones. It's a mouthful, but this just comes in clutch when I need to do monitoring of my audio, when I'm shooting video, and these are just a simple, cheap pair of headphones that get the job done. Now moving over to the back of the bag, I have my Apple M1 Max MacBook Pro. This is a 16-inch, 1 terabyte with 32 gigs of storage. This is my workhorse. Whenever I'm home in the office, I have it hooked up here to my studio display. But when I'm in the studio or I'm on the go, I'm traveling, this is my workhorse. I have to turn around photos and videos sometimes literally within minutes of shooting, and this computer gets it done. Obviously there's a M3 and I believe there's an M4 out already, but the M1 has still been killing it for me. I've never had issues with it. I edit my videos in Adobe Premiere. I do work in Lightroom. I do photo work also in Capture One, and this thing doesn't slow down. It just chugs through everything that I throw at it. And this is my absolute must-have in this bag at all times. So absolutely loving my M1 Max MacBook Pro. Now moving on to the main compartment of the bag, the interior, that's where all the juice is, that's where all the money making is in this main compartment. So jumping right in, we're gonna go ahead and grab the Canon EOS R5. Now this thing is my baby. I have had the R5 since it was launched. I believe it was launched in 2020. This is my go-to, this is my baby. I do all my professional portrait work in this, all my studio photography, video work on it. This thing, I do so much with this and I absolutely love it. It's never failed me. And as you guys can see, I have a battery grip attached to it. This is the Canon BG-R10 battery grip, specifically for the Canon R5, and I believe it fits the Canon R6 as well. This just gives me extra battery, so you put 2 extra batteries inside. That way I'm not killing the battery, because this thing definitely kills batteries. And then also for photography, it gives me a vertical mount or a vertical shutter button right there. So when I'm in the studio and I'm tethering, I can get these types of shots and it makes it so much easier. So R5 system with the BG10 battery grip. Continuing on, we have the 24-70 RF lens. This is my go-to all the time. I absolutely love this lens. This thing is crisp, it's sharp, it's a beautiful lens, it's not too heavy. This is the lens that's pretty much always glued to the camera. Absolutely love it. It's, like I said again, it's sharp, pretty expensive, but I think it's definitely worth it. If you guys are getting into photography, I would say either getting a 24-70 or a 24-105. I would say a 24-70 only because it's a 2.8 and just having that extra capability in low light. This thing is great, and even the focal length, 24 is wide enough for portrait work. 70 is great if you want to push in a little bit more. But yeah, this is my go-to lens. If I had one lens in this kit, in this bag, it would be this one for sure. So the 24-70 Canon RF. My next lens that I have in the bag is the Canon RF 70-200. Now this lens I bought, I will say about a year ago, maybe even 2. And I was on the fence about getting this. Now this one I got specifically because I shoot at my church. And when you're shooting at churches and you're shooting people worshiping, I like to stand back as far as possible because I think that is a very intimate type of setting, and you don't want to be necessarily on a 24 to 70 because you still have to be kind of close. That is an intimate time, and you kind of want to let that person be in worship and have their moment with God. So that's why I picked up the 70-200 specifically, and it has grown on me, and I use it in my portrait work as well. This is a 2.8, it's sharp, and obviously the biggest advantage of having this is being able to be on the other side of the room and be able to swing over it and shoot something close up in detail from the other side. And I absolutely love this lens. It's not necessarily always with me, but it's always with me when I'm in the studio for sure, and when I'm shooting at my church. But as far as on my day-to-day, this does fluctuate whether it's in my bag or not, but I absolutely love this lens. Now to power all this stuff up, you gotta have batteries. And inside this Peter McKinnon Nomadic case, I have more of Canon batteries. Now I have about 8 in total. Like I said, I shoot a lot and you never know what the shoot is gonna be all the time. So you want to save yourself and have tons of extra batteries. And like I said, I have this in the Peter McKinnon Nomadic battery case. So one of these actually came with the bag when I purchased it. But like I said, I had tons of extra batteries. So I went ahead and bought 2 more. And I think it's super clutch. It keeps your batteries in one place. And the one cool thing about it is when you buy the battery case, they actually come with these little stickers that you can put on one end to signify if a battery is dead or not. So whenever it's dead, I just go ahead and flip it up So that way, when I open the pouch, I know if it's dead or not, and I can move to the next battery. So super small, detailed thing there, but I think it's a must-have, and I absolutely love it in my camera bag. Now moving on to my next camera body, I can't show it to you because it's actually the one filming me right now. I bought it about 9 months ago, and it's easily become my favorite camera in the past year, and that's the Sony ZV-E1. Like I said, it's the camera recording me right now, and I absolutely love this. Now, I specifically use the Sony ZV-E1 for content creation. I use it for my Instagram Reels, my YouTube Shorts, my TikToks, my YouTube, and anything that is not necessarily for professional client work. This is just for me. So I do all my vlogs with this, all my day in the lives. It's all shot with the Sony ZV-E1, and I absolutely love this camera. And paired with it, I have the 20mm, like I said, it's filming me right now. I have the 20mm 1.8. This thing, I wish I can show you, but it's so small. It's a 1.8, and it makes this entire package absolutely like creme de la creme status. The camera itself already shoots 10-bit color, 10-bit 422 color, S-Log3. So you're getting the same image quality as a A7S III and the FX30 or the FX3. I get the two mixed up, but it has the same sensor. So you're getting the same colors and the same dynamic range and the same quality. And this is a ZV line camera, so it's more aimed towards Gen Z vlogging type of individuals, but this thing looks absolutely incredible, absolutely stunning. So that pair right there is always with me, and honestly, it's probably my favorite combo inside of this entire camera bag. But even to make this setup even better, there was one more lens that I had to add to the package, and that was the 16-35 G Master lens. Now, when I bought the ZV-E1, I was on the fence about getting another lens. I just wanted a setup that was small, quick, and easy to go. I can run with it, not necessarily have to put it in my bag, but I needed this 16-35, absolutely needed it. When I really want to get those true vlogging shots, or even if I want to push in and not necessarily just rely on the 20mm, this is where this lens comes in. It's a 2.8, so it's still fast, it's great in low light, and I think between this and the 20mm, I have the perfect content creation package right there. So the ZV-E1 with the 20mm, then also the ZV-E1 with the 16-35 2.8 G Master lens. And this is the G Master lens, the first edition, not the second edition. This is the first one, and it still does great, it does wonders, and that's in my camera bag as well. Now moving on to the audio specifically for my ZV-E1, and that is the Sony ECM M1. I absolutely love this mic simply because of the vlogging features. Now it has 8 different mic patterns where you can be either in front, on the side, behind, all around. You can record in all these different types of patterns. And that was like my biggest gripe when it came to vlogging. I have multiple mics, but the mic I was using at the time, I would always have to turn the mic physically around if I wanted to be behind the camera but shoot in front of me and be able to pick up the audio clearly. That was the workaround I had to do. But with this thing, you don't have to do that. It records all around, or you can isolate and just shoot forward or shoot behind you or capture the sides or capture a wider range from the front. This thing is packed with features. The audio quality is absolutely incredible. I record in auto with it, and I just mix it a little bit in Premiere, and it sounds great. I absolutely love this mic, and that's also in the camera bag. So my other source of audio is my Rode NTG1. Sometimes I just have to have a shotgun mic. I don't have the time to lob up my client or anything like that. Sometimes you just have to go with the shotgun mic. Now this one is what you're hearing me right now, so it's recording the audio now. I absolutely love this mic. I've had it for years. It's a great mic, especially when you're doing talking head stuff like this, or if you're doing vlog style type of content. This is great, I absolutely love it. This is always in my camera bag as well, especially as a backup. Up next, we have some tripod use. This is the Mantis Pod by PGY Tech. Now this thing is absolutely incredible, absolutely awesome when it comes to vlogging and putting your camera in different weird places. Obviously it works as a handheld device where I can hold it like this. So the mount that comes on this Mantis Pod, I also keep it on the camera at all times just so I can always plop it on and never really have to worry about it. But the one thing about this tripod is this Mantis point. I believe that's what it's called, the Mantis point. Yeah, I think it's called the Mantis point or Mantis something, Mantis clip. I don't know, someone let me know. But it's really cool because then you can hang it off of certain things, and obviously it will stop itself on these two legs. I'm doing a terrible job demonstrating it, but I'm able to I'll put an example. How about that? You're able to put it up on doors or put it up on just different areas to get unique shots. And this thing, I believe it was like 80 bucks, I don't know. And by the way, everything is linked down below in the description so you guys can catch all this stuff down on Amazon or their respected stores. Absolutely love this thing. It's super clutch to have in the bag and super, I would say conventional because it's not your traditional just tripod for a camera. You can truly get unique shots with it. So this is really great. And the other thing, I don't use much on this, but it is Bluetooth capable, so you can control the camera with this as well. It has a little remote. I don't use it like ever, but it's there. Now moving over to the next pouch in the camera bag, I have my Godox V1 Pro specifically for Canon cameras. So this is a recent purchase of mine. I just upgraded from the Canon Speedlight 430 EX3, and I've had that, God, for probably like 5 years, 6 years, and it was a workhorse, but the times have changed. That ran off of AA batteries, and I can go through one session and those batteries were completely fried. Now this one specifically, it's powered off a rechargeable battery, USB-C, and this thing is absolutely awesome. So I purchased it for a wedding that I was doing for a friend of mine. I don't typically shoot weddings, but if a friend asks me to shoot their wedding, if I feel like it, I'll do it. And I just knew that I needed something that was not gonna fail me throughout the day, and I needed AA batteries. So I went ahead and upgraded to this. And then also, like I said, I work for my church, and some areas of the backstage area of our church it's not lit as well. So this comes in clutch. Now the one thing I do love about this is that it has a modeling light. So when I'm in those dark areas, this works as a modeling light to illuminate the subject or illuminate the area, and will allow the flash to trigger, and hence getting a well lit and well exposed photo. So this is always with me because I really don't know what the lighting is gonna be like sometimes. And so this is always in my camera bag, super clutch. That's the Godox V1 Pro, specifically for Canon. So moving over to my next phase in my next round of audio, and I'm still rocking the original DJI mics. I'll call them the Mic 1 since there's the Mic 2s out now. But I've been rocking these since they've come out, and these things are absolutely necessity when it comes to any form of content creation. If you wanna be able to step away from the camera or give this and put it onto your client's like shirt, or just have your client or your subject away from the camera, this is what you need. You need a wireless mic. And these things have not failed me, even though they have the new ones out, DJI Mic 2s. This is still great for me. Now paired with that, I have two lavalier mics. I have a Shure lavalier mic and a Rode lavalier mic. And the only reason why they're different is because I bought them at separate times and one was out of stock and one wasn't. The only reason why I have two separate ones. But this is pivotal when you want to make it look professional. So I go ahead and I plug these into my DJI mics, and that gives a much cleaner and more professional look, especially when I'm working with clients. Sometimes when it's just me creating content, I don't really care. I'll hold the mic or I'll put it here. Sometimes I'll go ahead and lav myself up, but I think those are pivotal for sure in your camera bag as well. Now moving over to my tech pouch. My tech pouch is not named because this pouch actually came with a computer case that I bought about 6 years ago, and it was just an add-on accessory. So it's nothing. So I've actually linked down an alternative to a actual tech pouch. And I think that will help you guys with all your cabling and all that. Cause that's what I have in here. I just have some extra cables, and I have some Sony chargers, and I have a Anchor USB-C, USB 3 fast charger, and back to my Sony charger. So this thing is that name. It's weird, but it holds two Sony batteries, and it also actually holds 2 SD card slots, and it works as a power bank. Where is that? It works as a power bank. So if you guys ever need to power your phone or power some type of gear when you're out in the field, that is a great option for you as well. And the last thing I have over in this top section with the tech pouch is just my MacBook Pro charger. It's a necessity to make that computer work all day when I'm editing out in the field. So make sure you guys have your charger. Now let's move over to filters. I like a stylized look on some of my shots, and I have a slew of filters that I have with me at all times. Like I said multiple times, my line of work is very spontaneous, and I don't always know what I'm gonna need for some of my shoots, so I kind of carry everything. So I'll just start with the filter that is on the camera right now, and that is the Polar Pro Peter McKinnon Chroma Polarizer VND filter with mist. There we go, with the mist. And this is for the 2 to 5 stop. And this is a recent pickup, recent purchase. I think I've had it about 2 weeks now, and I love it. I mean, it gives a more of a stylized look with the mist. So the cool thing about this filter is that it has a variable ND inside, a polarizer, and it has the bloom with the mist. So what I want you guys to do is look over at my desk here. This is what a polarizer does. It kills reflections. So if you guys see my desk, it's killing all that reflection that's coming from my windows right there. So also, if I'm shooting through a window, you should be able to kill the reflections on a car. Also, it works as an ND filter. So everyone should know what an ND filter is. It's basically sunglasses for your lens. This is a 2 to 5 stop, so this works great when I'm outdoors, and it works great in this scenario where I can have this light above me pretty intense, but I can throw this ND filter on so that way I can still have a nice shallow depth of field. And then the mist gives me a little bit of a bloom. So that light over there, it's a pretty harsh light, but what the filter's doing is just mystifying it and blooming it a little bit, just to not make it so harsh. And then it just gives a nice soft tone and a soft layer over the overall image. And I like this type of look, especially when I'm shooting females, killing highlights and putting a nice softening filter on the skin. And most of the people that I shoot and I work with love that look, but it's not necessarily for everyone. And that's why I also have the original Peter McKinnon Polar Pro. There's a lot of Peter McKinnon Polar Pro stuff in here, but this is the original Peter McKinnon Polar Pro ND filter. This is the first version. So this is essentially the same thing. It's another 2 to 5 ND filter, and no polarizer, no mist or anything in here. This is just a standard regular ND filter, and not every client wants that look. So you also want to have something that's bare bones, just getting it very clinical. So that's why I also have just the bare bones regular ND filter as well. And moving on to more of the stylized filters that I have a slew of filters from Prism Lens Effects. So Prism Lens Effects is goated, I'll say. So I not only have filters in this camera bag for my R5, my content creation type of work, but I also have filters for their cinema camera line. So my Blackmagic with my matte boxes, I have filters for that as well. But in this camera bag, I'll go down the line as far as what the filters are that I have. And if I can find an image that I've shot with that filter applied, I'll go ahead and throw it up on the screen. So first off, I have the Dream filter. This is my go-to filter when it comes to kind of doing what this filter does as far as the mist. It blooms the highlights and it gives a very dreamy, soft look to the image. So typically when I'm shooting females or I'm doing a film or a music video and it needs to look more cinematic or dreamy, I'll use the dream filter. And I absolutely love this one. This was, I believe, the first filter I've ever bought from them. And whenever I'm shooting certain clients, they always ask, hey, can you use that filter? They just love what it looks like, and this never leaves my bag. So this is the Dream filter from Prism Lens Effects. And before I continue on, I do have a discount code JD2 on Prism Lens Effects, and I believe it's 10 or 15% off. I'm not really sure the amount. So there's a discount code, so go ahead and spend your money over there. They make super dope filters. Moving on to the next filter. This is the Kaleidoscope filter, and as its name says, it is like a kaleidoscope. Now this is extremely stylized, so I do use this from time to time, more on my music video work. Some photography, I'll use it more like my editorial, experimental work, I'll use it. And I do use it from time to time when I'm shooting at my church, just to give some flair on the social media pages. But absolutely love this filter, super unique, super different. You rarely see images like this all the time, so I love having that in my camera bag as well. Clients always freak out when they're like, oh, that looks so sick. And that's something you always want to do, is surprise and hype up your client on the day. Sometimes it's just as easy as putting an interesting filter in front of the lens. So that's the Kaleidoscope filter by Prism Lens Effects. The next filter that I have also from Prism Lens Effects is the Starburst filter. I'm gonna see if this will bloom off of anything. Not really, but I'll throw a photo up. And what this does, it just starbursts the light source. So if there's ever a hard light anywhere, it's going to make a X formation, hence the Starburst filter. This I use all the time at my church. They love what that looks like, and it's always in my camera bag. Next one I have is the Streak filter, and I rarely use this. I do use it from time to time, very rare though, and basically it's kind of like a fake anamorphic look. Not really, but that's the best way I can explain it. It was one of the first ones I bought, and I rarely use it, but when I do use it, I do combine it with the Starburst filter, and you have like a very interesting looking image with the light cutting through the filter and then blooming from the Starburst. That's the one cool thing I do like about the Prism Lens Effects filters. You can stack all of these. Good luck trying to get them off, but you can stack all of them together and you can get something extremely unique. So that's the Streak filter from Prism Lens Effects. And the last filter I have from Prism Lens Effects is the Split Diopter. So throwing that on, you can kind of see what that does. It diops whatever portion of the lens it's covering. I'll do my face right there. And I do use this a lot in some of my video work, as well in photo work at my church. Some photography and portrait work, not necessarily, but more definitely at my church, and more of like my stylized, like editorial type of shoots. Absolutely love what this looks like. I definitely use it more on my video work, and it just gives a really nice, unique look. And that's the whole thing about Prism Lens Effects. They're called effects because they're natural and what's the right word? They're practical. They're practical effects. So it's not being done in post. It's an effect that's actually interacting with your environment. That's the cool thing about having filters that do these things, is that when you do it in post, it's artificial. But when you're using these type of filters where the light's cutting through, or there's an atmosphere in the room or whatever, it's interacting with the filter as well. Your filter's actually in that environment, and something you can't necessarily replicate in post. So that's why I have all these filters. I absolutely love them. But in order to make all these filters work on all the lenses that I have, you need to get yourself a set of step up and step down rings. Now I have an entire set, but this is the one that I just need to fit on all these lenses, and the one that I do have for the 20mm on the Sony ZV-E1 obviously is being used right now. So I have 2 sets of step-up rings and step-down rings that I keep in the bag at all times just to make sure they fit my lenses. And that's how I'm able to use all these filters and not have to buy different size filters for all the different lenses that I have and will potentially get in the future. Almost there. So now moving over to the top compartment of the bag. This area is made for an iPad or a smaller laptop, but I keep my tether tools cable. Now I do a ton of studio work and I tether for all of my photo shoots, and I tether using tether tools cables. This is a 15-foot heavy duty USB-C to USB-C cable. One end goes into my laptop and one end goes into my R5. And I tether through Capture One. And this cable, as simple as it is, it's so expensive, but if you want to tether and you want to have your images show up on set for your client to review, you need a cable like this. Always in my bag, just in case, and heavy duty, absolutely love it. And moving on, I have my SSDs. Shooting all this content, especially when I'm on the go, I need to offload the footage and my photos, sometimes to edit, like I said, right then and there. I know at my church, I deliver all of my photos before the service is even over. And in order to do that, I have to work off my SSDs. So I have some T5 drives and some T7 drives. Depending on which one is full or not full, that's what I'm using. And then I also have this specific T5 drive. I labeled it the sauce. This is the drive that holds all of my assets and effects. Now I've been collecting assets and effects and plugins and all these things like light leaks and burns and grain, all these different assets since I was in college. So that was in 2010. So I have assets in here as early as 2009, 2010 on this drive. And this is literally the sauce. So when people ask me, oh, where'd you get that lens flare or that light leak or whatever, I'm like, bro, sometimes I don't even remember. I've had it for years. So this is my holy grail right here, the sauce. And obviously I put my name on it just so if it gets stolen, people know who to return it to. But I have those 2 drives, 3 drives actually, in here at all times. And then for offloading all of that high quality footage and photos from my R5, I need to have this SanDisk Extreme Pro card reader. This moves fast as hell. So with the R5, I'm shooting C-Log, 4K, sometimes 4K 120, 4K 60, 4K 24 at high quality mode. So it's 8K downsampled to 4K. Files are absolutely massive, but the quality is absolutely beautiful. And I need this thing in order to do it in a timely fashion. So this is always in my camera bag, never leaves it unless I'm working here in the home office. But SanDisk Extreme Pro card reader, must have. Next up is something you don't necessarily need, but it's always in my camera bag because it always happens. Everyone always loses either their lens caps or their lens backs. And so I bought a case of multiple of these just so that I had them. And I always keep 2 in the bag just in case. Like sometimes I'll hand it off to an assistant or I'll put it down somewhere. It's not worth losing. So I have multiple of these. Get that in focus. I have multiple of these, and that's definitely a must need. And sometimes when they're not in use, if it's like something quick, I'll go ahead and throw a memory card in there just in case I do forget to pack. I've never forgot a memory card, but in my other one, I always keep a spare memory card just in case. So these are super clutch and they're also linked down below. So getting close to the end, we have 2 of my Canon R5 battery chargers. I always make sure I have at least 2. I have 4 in total, but I always make sure I have 2 in the bag. Obviously when I'm out on the go, when 2 batteries die, go ahead and put 2 batteries on the charger. So it's a nice rotation. And these are always here in the bag with me as well. Next up is my memory card holder. This I've had probably since college, so I don't know where it's from, what the brand is, how much it was, but I did put down an alternative in the description down below. And I think this is great, and you need to take care of your memory cards because you don't want the information or the tactile points on the back of your memory card to get damaged, because then you'll corrupt your card, break your card, you'll lose your footage or photos. Always put it in a nice hard case. Like I said, I'm not sure where this one's from. I've had it for forever, but there is a nice alternative link down below, so make sure you guys grab that. It's super, super important. And then lastly, we have the small rig multi-tool. You absolutely need a multi-tool. I actually should have put this first in the video because I think a lot of people don't realize how important these are. Instead of running around asking for a quarter or a penny or a key to try to lock in your tripod plate or to lock in a mount, just get one of these. They're cheap. They're like 20 bucks. There's so many different versions. Let me get that. And there you go. There's so many different versions of these, but you can get the $20 one. They're all the same. They all work. You got your screw, you have your Allen key, you have your flathead. I mean, you need this in your bag. Like, stop asking for quarters and pennies and keys for your camera gear. Be professional, spend the 20 bucks and get the multi-tool. So this is more of an honorable mention because it's not necessarily always in my camera bag, but it's always on me, always on my person. Whenever I leave the house, whenever I go out on a date with my lady, whenever I travel, I always have this camera with me, and that's the Fuji X100V. This thing is my absolute baby. I love this thing. Is it overpriced? Yes. Was it overhyped? Yes. But do I love it? Yes. I absolutely love this camera. The film simulations that come in this camera are absolutely beautiful, and the recipes that I've created over the year that I've had it, absolutely beautiful. I love this camera. I don't even shoot RAW on this camera. I just shoot JPEG. The recipes really do all the heavy lifting. I love this thing. This thing is absolutely amazing. Sadly, it is discontinued because they released the Fuji X100V. It's a little bit more expensive. Hopefully you guys can get your hands on it because people are selling them for double the price. And at that point, I don't think it's worth it, but I did spend almost double on this one when it was out last year. But I absolutely love this thing. It's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And it's always with me. Every trip I go on, I don't leave the house without it. Whenever I'm even in the studio with clients, I'll even fire off a few with this and mix it into the catalog, and they always love it because it just looks different. It looks nostalgic and it looks like film. And yeah, I absolutely love this. So this is a great honorable mention, and that's my Fuji X100V. So that's everything inside of my camera bag. You guys can see how much I can pack in this. So everything that I mentioned is literally in my camera bag, and I still have room for more things, which is absolutely insane. But I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Again, everything that we talked about in the video today is linked down below. Don't forget to use the discount code if you get anything over at Prism Lens Effects. The code is JD2. Everything else is linked down below from Amazon, so click away. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys loved it, please, 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 please share it, like, and subscribe. It really, really does wonders for the channel, and it helps me out a ton. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.